Tens of thousands flocked to his rallies, displaying fervent devotion to a leader whose policies, they say, have transformed ordinary Indians' lives. Modi defies the conventional template of Indian leaders, often characterized by private education, metropolitan sophistication, and English fluency. India's first Prime Minister, Jawaharlal Nehru, hailed from the Indian National Congress, instrumental in ending 200 years of British rule.
On the religious side, that's a very satisfactory, sounds to me an optimistic statement. But on the main trouble there's been in India, I'll put it this way, you have said in the past that you wanted to make India a secular democracy in which minorities could live at peace. Now, do you feel, I regard that as one of your principal objectives, do you feel that you have achieved that religious fanaticism is gone down now? Do you feel on top of that problem?
Well, we are on top of it, but I can't say that we've put an end to it. And we have to face it even now often enough. But the last elections showed that the Indian people generally don't like it.
And caste?
There's plenty of caste which interferes with politics in the sense of, in elections, a person may choose to vote for his caste man. In that sense, they're still there, unfortunately.
Rahul Gandhi, today's Congress face and Modi's primary opponent, is Rajiv's son and an alumnus of Cambridge and Harvard both.
The story of Hindu nationalism, how would you kind of want to assess the ascendancy of the idea of Hindu nationalism in relation to, say, Nehruvian India, or what Congress stood for, which was a multi-religious social compact? How would you want to sort of make a plea now for the older idea of India? Is it sort of worn out? Does it need...
I'm not going to make a plea for it.
No.
That idea exists in India, and that idea is going to fight back. Now, the question is, how is it going to fight back?
That's right.
Right? You can't impose one ideology on a place that is as complicated as India.
Modi stands in stark contrast.
कभी दिल्ली के गलियारे देखे नहीं, उसने इतनी बड़ी सल्तनत को चुनौती दे दी, वो पचा नहीं पाता। दलाली के बिना काम कहीं नहीं है कि पिछले 55 साल में सत्ता भोग के काल में एक भी रक्षा सौदा बिना दलाली हुआ ही नहीं। क्या आपकी मेहनत की कमाई का पैसा घुसपैठियों को दिया जाएगा? आपको मंजूर है ये कांग्रेस का मैनिफेस्टो कह रहा है।
Yet India has wholeheartedly embraced him. Narendra Modi's immense popularity in India has been a defining feature of the country's political landscape. His devoted followers praise his leadership even in the face of controversy. Interestingly, some believe India fared exceptionally well during the COVID-19 pandemic, suffering the least casualties. However, according to the World Health Organization, India actually had the third highest number of pandemic-related deaths globally, surpassed only by the United States and Brazil.
The world's worst coronavirus outbreak. Today is the 5th day with more than 3,000 reported deaths in that country, a country where only 2% of the population is fully vaccinated. And behind those numbers are experiences and stories of suffering and desperation and the complete mismanagement of this crisis. Even as help pours into India from the U.S. and other countries, India is struggling to give basic medical care to those who need it.
This disparity highlights the differing perspectives on Modi's handling of the crisis, with critics accusing him of underpreparedness as hospitals were overwhelmed and morgues overflowed. Despite these criticisms, Dilip Patel, BJP president and a key figure in Modi's election campaigns, believes that Modi embodies India's future, a sentiment echoed by many across the country. So who is Modi, and how did he become so popular? In the village of Vadnagar, India, a boy was born on September 17, 1950, to a humble tea seller struggling to make ends meet. Little did anyone know that this unassuming child would one day rise to become the leader of the world's largest democracy. Modi's fascination with politics was sparked at an incredibly tender age. At just 8 years old, he was enthralled by the ideals of Hindu nationalism, taught by the local RSS branch. Founded by Keshav Baliram Hedgewar in 1925, the RSS sought to rekindle Hindu supremacy, a notion that would later become the bedrock of the BJP. Hedgewar's bold departure from Nehru's Congress Party was fueled by his conviction that Muslims were being undeservingly favored. The RSS core mission to nourish Hindu culture resonated deeply with Narendra Modi. As he approached adulthood, Modi made a startling decision. At 17, he bid farewell to his family, wife, and village, and took on a journey of self-discovery with RSS. His odyssey across India was a quest for spiritual enlightenment, chronicled in his biography. By 1972, Modi had evolved into an RSS pracharak, disseminating their ideology through impassioned public lectures and meetings. Modi joined the BJP in 1987 when the fringe political party started gaining traction, fueled by the rise of Hindu nationalism in India. The BJP's rise to power was deeply intertwined with the Ram Janmabhoomi movement, which galvanized the Hindu nationalist sentiment and catapulted the party to prominence. Prior to the 1990s, the BJP was a relatively minor player in Indian politics, having won only 2 seats in the 1984 general elections. However, the party's fortunes changed dramatically with the Ramrath Yatra, led by L.K Advani in 1990. This campaign proved pivotal in harnessing the emotional power of Hindu nationalism, transforming BJP into a major force in Indian politics. In the summer of 1990, India's political landscape was ablaze with fervor. The Ramrath Yatra was winding its way across the nation, leaving a trail of heightened tensions and communal divisions in its wake. The rally's stated goal was to generate support for the construction of a Hindu temple at the disputed site in Ayodhya, where now stood the Babri Mosque, believed by Hindus to be the birthplace of Lord Ram. The Vishwa Hindu Parishad, VHP, and BJP capitalized on this grassroots energy and emotional power of Hindu nationalism to mobilize a broad-based movement. The Yatra's impact was profound. It electrified Hindu sentiment, crystallized communal identities, and created an us versus them dynamic that would have far-reaching consequences. On December 6, 1992, tensions boiled over. A massive crowd converged on the mosque, and in a shocking turn of events, the Babri Masjid was demolished. The destruction of the mosque unleashed a storm of violence, claiming over 2,000 lives, predominantly Muslims. Communal riots engulfed India, spreading to cities like Mumbai, Surat, and Ahmedabad. And L.K Advani, one of the founders of BJP, was widely believed to be the brains behind the mosque's destruction.
Forgetting the politics for a minute, you were there at the time. What were your personal feelings, if you could live through them once again for us?
Perhaps 10 or 15 days later, I wrote a couple of articles for the Indian Express. And I described that as the saddest day of my life.
You said that it was the saddest day. So what were your feelings as you watched it happen in front of you?
It was something, one loses control, that kind of situation. And we did lose control. One of the aspects of the entire movement and of the party to which I belong and the organization in which I have had my upbringing since childhood, namely the RSS, discipline is an important attribute. And there suddenly you find that discipline is no longer there. And all that you are saying, even from the microphone, is not being heeded to. Till today, frankly, I do not know whether it was the mob fury, a mob going out of control, or a small determined group which did not agree with the leadership of the movement, who thought that this should be done. I'm not clear in my mind.
L.K Advani played a huge role in nurturing Narendra Modi's leadership within the party. He saw great potential in him and entrusted him with significant responsibilities, which ultimately led to Modi's rapid rise through the ranks in the party. In 2001, Modi's leadership skills were put to test when he was appointed Chief Minister of Gujarat, a position that would become a defining chapter in his political career. However, Modi's tenure was also marred by controversy, particularly the 2002 Gujarat riots. The violence erupted when a Godhra train was set to fire on February 27, 2002, killing 59 Hindu pilgrims. In February 2011, the trial court convicted 31 Muslims for the incident, relying heavily on the Nanavati Mehta Commission report as evidence. In October 2017, the Gujarat High Court upheld the convictions. In retaliation of the incident, Muslim-owned homes and stores were attacked, resulting in the loss of over 1,000 lives. Critics accused Modi of complicity, alleging his administration failed to prevent or respond adequately to the unrest. This led to international repercussions for Modi, including a ban from entering the United States due to concerns over human rights violations. Despite vehement denials and a Supreme Court clearance, the polarization of communities left deep scars that persist to this day. Yet Modi's leadership continued to garner support, as evidenced by the re-election with a significant majority. Modi infamously walked out of an interview in 2007 when journalist Karan Thapar pressed him on his role in the Gujarat riots.
You face a mass murderer and they accuse you of being prejudiced against Muslims. Do you have an image problem?
I think it's not proper to say that people. There are 2 or 3 persons.
I'll tell you what the problem is. Even 5 years after the Gujarat killings of 2002, the ghost of Godhra still haunts you. Why have you not done more to allay that ghost?
This I gave it to the media persons like Karan Thapar. Let them do and let them enjoy.
Why can't you say that you regret the killings that happened? Why can't you say that maybe the government should have done more to protect the Muslims?
What I have to say, I have said at that time, and you can find out my statements.
Just say it again. It's in your hands to change it.
I'll have to rest. Purple water.
दोस्ती बनी रहे, अपनी दोस्ती बनी रहे. You came here, I'm happy and thankful to you.
But Modi sahab, Modi sahab,
कल देखो मैं दोस्ताना संबंध बनाना चाहता हूँ. आप उसको कोशिश कीजिए.
India's PM doesn't like speaking about it. However, his contributions to the Gujarat model made the BJP won by a landslide in 2014, crushing the Congress, the party's worst defeat in more than 100 years of its existence. I've done an entire episode on the policies and reforms that have been introduced in India in the last few years, so we won't go into the details here, but India did witness massive progress under the Modi regime. Having said that, many say that a troubling pattern has also emerged. he has managed to instill a sense of fear among the 230 million Muslims living in India. In 2019, he rode through polls yet again, this time on a more clearly defined ticket of Hindu supremacy. He abrogated the special autonomy of Kashmir, its statehood, bringing it under the direct control of New Delhi. His government implemented a controversial citizenship law considered by many to be discriminatory against Muslims. He built the Ram Temple in Ayodhya on the site of the destroyed Babri Mosque, reviving painful memories of 1992's bloodshed for many Muslims, but brought a sense of pride for millions of Hindu devotees. To his more vocal critics, Modi's economic policies are also open to question. Despite India now boasting an economy that is projected to grow 7.3% this fiscal year, the highest rate among major global economies, accusations persist that Modi has failed to create enough jobs or adequately bridge the gap between the country's billionaire class and its most impoverished. He has made the poor poorer. Despite that, a recent Morning Consult poll ranked Modi as the world's most popular global leader. The BJP also draws significant support from the Banya or trader community, traditionally business-oriented and concentrated in states like Gujarat and Rajasthan. This community includes influential tycoons like Mukesh Ambani, Gautam Adani, India's richest individuals. The party also enjoys substantial backing from upper caste Hindus, comprising many Brahmans. These groups have historically held positions of power and influence within Indian society. Interestingly, Hindu support for the BJP varies significantly across regions. While the party enjoys strong backing in the northern and central regions, its appeal is notably weaker in the south. India's 2024 elections were yet to start, but many columnists were already calling the verdict on the biggest prize of all. UP, the northern state that is the country's largest, and that sends the largest chunk of legislators to the nation's parliament. In 2014 and 2019, they made the BJP's fortunes, with PM Narendra Modi's party winning 71 and 62 seats in those two elections. The columnists were predicting a repeat, a done deal for the BJP. The results stunned all.
Why did they lose? They lost 63 seats. You talk about the seats that you have lost. Sir, Prabhu Shri Ram ने आपको bless नहीं किया अयोध्या में. Sir, आप अयोध्या हार गए. आप कौन सी जीत को रिजॉइस कर रहे हैं? क्या सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं? अयोध्या हार गए. क्या सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं? Your prime USP was Ram Mandir. You lost in Ayodhya and you are celebrating. You are celebrating. You were 303.
Okay, Razak, listen.
And the rest is history. So now the question is, will India's most loved Modi bounce back from here as he navigates coalition politics for the very first time? Will Kashmir get back its statehood? Will he be able to unite the Hindus and Muslims of India and undo the damage of the past?